Welcome to the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. We've got a fast-paced hour of fishing, hunting, and conservation covering the nation and the Northwest, including 13 extra minutes of local content you'll only hear on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
Happy Saturday morning to you. I hope your Christmas shopping is going well. So well that maybe you're finished and getting to put in some time in the field or on the water. Or maybe you're the type who procrastinates when it comes to shopping until Christmas Eve. Or maybe even, God forbid, you're an Ebenezer Scrooge and say, bah humbug, to all of the gift buying and gift giving that happens this time of year. I hope the latter case is not true. I'm not saying you have to spend a fortune. I know I'm watching my money this year, but I would say this. There are places where you can stretch those holiday dollars and make someone happy this Christmas. And one place in particular is your local Sportsman's Warehouse stores in Puyallup, Federal Way, Silverdale, and Everett, where they are having one last Christmas sale that goes right up to Christmas Eve. And boy, oh boy, there are some good deals to be found here, to include a Garmin E-Trex for only $69. That's $50 off that GPS. A Smith & Wesson M&P 22 caliber semi-auto rifle for only $299. Something you'll want to buy now before new firearms laws go into effect in Washington State. Want more? How about $60 off a Mustang inflatable PFD, which you can now get for only $119, which, by the way, is the same price for which you can purchase a Temple Fork fly fishing combo that is $80 off. You see, sometimes procrastinating works out for the best. But don't wait any longer. Get down to Sportsman's Warehouse this weekend and take advantage of these deals and more, because supplies of these gifts may well be limited. Turning to fishing, we've got a couple of great guests for you today during our local shot of the outdoors, to include Daniel St. Laurent. He is the owner of St. Laurent Guide Service in Northern Oregon. At the bottom of the hour, he's going to give you the latest winter steelhead fishing report from the Tillamook area and tell you what he does to get those chrome metalheads out of the water and into his net. And don't leave at the end of our network broadcast either, because Bob Loomis with Mack's Lure Company will be back and joining us right before 8 a.m. to share a great hack with you that will give your spoons, any type of spoon you're fishing, way more action than you've ever seen before. Before we get into that, though, let's tell you, as we do every week, what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest. What's definitely not hot, ice cold even, is blackmouth fishing in the Sound. Creel checkers last Sunday checked 39 anglers with only 3 Chinook, all caught out of Marine Area 11. Saturday fishing was more crowded, but not much better. 137 anglers were checked at various ramps after fishing Marine Areas 11, 12, 13, 8-1, and 8-2, with a grand total of 10 Chinook and 2 coho. Of note, not a single blackmouth was brought in by anglers last weekend in Marine Areas 8-1 or 8-2, but on the other hand, a few chum were still on the bite at Perry Creek, where 21 anglers were checked with 14 dog salmon. Fish for Sanity, posting on NorthwestFishingReports.com, also had some good luck chum fishing last week, but it wasn't out at Hood Canal, it was on the Green River. He went out multiple times and caught multiple chum salmon along with some coho. His tactic, fishing jigs under floats and tipping them with shrimp. As tempting as it may be to run down there, he did say the run is definitely finishing up, but there may be a few left for you if you're looking for a tug-of-war at the end of your line. Finally, in Southwest Washington, WDFW reports over the last 2 weeks indicate the salmon and steelhead fishing on the Cowlitz and the Lewis is simply not happening. There's been effort, but no reward for the anglers who have ventured down there. The one exception to this is the Elokamin River, where last week, creel checkers found 35 bank anglers with 5 steelhead on the bank and 7 coho jacks that were caught and released. So there you go. Now you know what's not hot and what is hot, right here in the Pacific Northwest.
That's your first local shot of the outdoors. Now let's see what's going on across the nation.
Are you looking to reel in the marketing opportunity of a lifetime? America Outdoors Radio has sponsorships available, and we offer affordable platforms to reach thousands of listeners. Find out more by contacting John Cruz through his website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com.
Ready for more local fishing and hunting? You got it. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
We're heading down to the Northern Oregon coast. That's where we're checking in with Daniel St. Laurent. He is the owner of St. Laurent Guide Service. And I understand, Daniel, that the very first winter steelhead are entering the rivers around the Tillamook area like the Wilson. Tell me how you expect this fishery is going to develop as we roll into the new year.
We have a very early run that is called the Alsea strain that we get on both the Wilson and the Nestucca rivers, and then we also get them up on the North Fork of the Nehalem. So that's our early strain. It's not nearly as many as our late strain, but we still get a nice early shot of fish that will be coming in every time we get rain as we go into later December and early January.
These winter steelhead, what's their average size?
The early component is the smaller strain, where most of those are 6 to 10 pounds. As you get to the later broodstock strain, the January through April, those are the much larger ones that sometimes will upwards of 20 pounds.
So, Daniel, I have to admit, there's a reason I called you in particular. That's because you advertise for St. Laurent Guide Service that you have heated seats on your boat, and fishing for winter steelhead on a chilly December, January day, that's got to be a difference maker.
That is a big difference maker, and especially when you can put the seats right in the middle of your boat, that people can sit down and fish. They can swivel in the seats and stay in those nice warm seats and not have to stand up all day. It makes for a much more comfortable and fun day.
What's the one technique you would recommend for these early steelhead?
I like to use two techniques, but they're very similar hands-on techniques, and we bobber fish, bobber dogging, very hands-on, and also side drifting. It all kind of depends on what the water conditions are. As the water drops lower, I do more bobber fishing. As the water's higher, I do more side drifting. Both very fun and interactive techniques. When
you're side drifting, I presume you're drifting eggs?
Yes, eggs and yarn balls, and then we actually still use a fair amount of beads behind the yarn ball setup as we're side drifting.
All right, we've got to go, but before we do, let's give folks a website so they can book a trip with you.
It's stlaurentguideservice.com.
That's St. Laurent, STLAURENT, guideservice.com. That's stlaurentguideservice.com. Book a trip and stay comfortable fishing in those heated seats down Tillamook Way this winter. Thanks, Daniel.
Alrighty, thank you.
Backcountry hunters and anglers, the men and women working hard to keep public lands in public hands. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
Don't leave yet. We've got one more local shot of fishing and hunting to wrap up the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio.
Well, it's that time of the show. It's time for another Mack's Minute. And you know who we're going to talk to again. That's right, Bob Loomis with Mack's Lure Company. Bob, always great to have you on the show.
Thanks, John.
So, Bob, you've got a couple of spoons here. They're called the Humdinger. A vertical jigging spoon is one way to look at it. A trolling spoon is another way to look at it. And you've got them in two sizes. One's about an 1/8 ounce. The other one is a 1/2 ounce. What do you use these lures for?
Well, the Humdinger is a fantastic tool for catching kokanee, trout. The larger one, works great for lahontan, cutthroats. It's worked great for steelhead. It's worked great for coho. It's a larger size lure that works really well for a lot of different things.
And I love the single Siwash hook that is on it, too. Personally, I like the single Siwash better than the treble hook in most situations when you're targeting these fish. Let's talk about something you've discovered in terms of getting more action out of these lures, and it has to do with the knot you tie to the lure.
Yeah, tying what you call a loop knot on these lures really allows them to do what they're supposed to do, and that is a lot of movement. You can fish them fast, and you're going to get a lot of erratic movement out of it, or you fish them slow and you'll get more of a fluttering type action, but you will get a lot more movement out of it by tying a loop knot on it than you will tying it direct.
That's really weird to me, that you would get more movement out of it than, tying a fisherman's knot or an improved clinch knot. Why the difference?
Well, because it's allowing it, it's not pegging it. When you tie a clinch knot like that, it's tightened down right against the product. So now you've got whatever your leader is going to allow it to move like that. When you tie a loop knot in there, now it's free to move however it wants to within the given size of your loop.
And it seems to me this works not only for the humdinger, but just about any spoon you're casting and retrieving.
Absolutely. The sonic baitfish, the crip lure, any of them.
Our very own mad scientist and inventor, Bob Loomis, with a new hack for you when you're fishing spoons. Try a loop knot and get more action from the humdinger or any other spoon you're fishing.
That's all for this week, but don't worry. We'll do it all again next Saturday morning from 7 to 8, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
NorthwestFishingReports.com is the Northwest's largest fishing reports website, featuring well over 50,000 fishing reports, videos, articles, and more. All 100% free. Catch more fish with Northwest Fishing Reports. Log on today.
Pheasants Forever is working hard every day to ensure there's more wildlife habitat for the future. To join us, go to pheasantsforever.org.